Welcome back to a special edition of the Perfect Ride series. Today, we're going to be talking about two of the most popular bikes on the market, the Lectric XP 3.0 Step Over, which is on this side, and the XP 3.0 Step Through, which is on this side. Now again, Lectric did send us these bikes for free, but they were not paying for this video. These are our thoughts and opinions, and there's not going to be much opinion on this one. We are really looking to answer the question, do you need the Step Over or do you need the Step Through? If you've watched any of our in-depth reviews, which you can find linked down below, and you're like, hey, I think this is for me, I just can't tell if I need the Step Over or Step Through, that's kind of what we're hoping to answer in this video, and the answer is a little bit more simple than you might think. Now, before we get to the answer to that question, let's go ahead and talk about the Step Through model. Now, this bike is designed to get off and on easier, being a Step Through with a lower standover height of 18 to 19 inches. You're saying, is it 18? Is it 19? Well, 18 inches is where we measured right where this little carrying handle is here in the top part of the frame, and then 19 inches is going to be the measurement from the top of the folding joint to the ground. So 18, 19, kind of depends on where you put your foot through. If you snake it through, you can get 18. Most people, I think, will step over the middle. So 19 inches is probably a little bit more of a realistic standover height. Now, if you're somebody who's thinking you might need a step over, you might have mobility issues, you might be a little bit on the shorter side. So it is going to make it easier to get on and off this bike being the step through version. Now, as far as comparing this to the step over version, really the only difference here is the fact that the step through is about 1 inch longer than the step over. Most of that is due to the frame design here. So not really something to make your decision off of, but just a fact, this one's 1 inch longer. When you fold it up, it should be 1/2 inch longer than the XP Step Over when that's fully folded up. So next, let's compare that with the Step Over model. Here, the standover height jumps up to 24 inches, giving the bike a little bit more of a traditional look and feel. It's slightly shorter in length, 66 inches. Again, you know, about 1 inch difference here. But it also has a higher seat to ground range. So going from 32 inches at the lowest to 42 inches at the highest, where on the step through, doesn't go quite that high for our maximum seat height. Now, Lectric claims the step through is ideal for riders between 4'10" and 6'3", while the step over suits those from 5 foot flat to 6'4". So depending on your height and preferences, one of these models is bound to fit your needs a little bit better than the other. Now, the only caveat to minimum and maximum heights here, and we do touch on that in the in-depth review, linked below, those are probably a little bit too wide for me. If somebody came in and they're saying, hey, I am 4'10", they might be able to fit this. We could definitely try it, but I would imagine, just based on my experience, that it would still be a little bit too tall for them. So for the step through, I would say that's probably 5 foot flat. And then on the height side, somebody who is 6 foot or so, if they come in and say, I'm 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", there's probably some other bikes that we would go look at, but Lectric does claim that it does fit people up to 6'3". Now, you could ride this if you're 6'3", but it might not be the perfect fit for you. You might want something that gives you a little bit better geometry for a taller person. Now, for the step over, and again, we go into that a little bit more in depth in the review where we talk about this bike specifically. They say it is anywhere from 5 foot flat to 6'4". Now, again, a little bit broad for me. If somebody said they were 5'2", might start thinking about this bike. If they come in and they say they're 5 foot flat, would probably point them towards the step over, even though, you know, it is rated for that height. I probably would push it a little bit this way because I think somebody who's about 5 foot would fit on this one a little bit better than here. Now, as far as the max saddle height, or the max rider height rather, they say it goes up to 6'4", probably about the same. So if somebody says like 6 foot, probably start thinking about other bikes, but anywhere between, I would say 5'2" to 6 foot flat, that would be a really good fit here. Again, you could ride it if you were a little bit taller, but I'd probably start thinking about other bikes at that point. If you're looking for like a good pedal geometry, if you're looking for something where you're not going to do a lot of pedaling and you're just looking to throttle, both of these would work for a tall person in that scenario. However, I find most people who are taller in general, they do want to do a little bit of pedaling, and so the pedal geometry and just the feel of the bike might not be set up for that. But if you are over 6 foot and you're looking for something to you know, throw a nice comfortable saddle on and just use the throttle, get around the campground, then obviously these would be pretty good and affordable fits for you. And now, in case you didn't get the hint that you should go watch the videos for these linked down in the comments below, What I would recommend next is looking at some of the stuff that they have in common and just give you a rundown on those real quick. Both of these bikes are equipped with a 500 watt hub motor that peaks at 1,000 watts, got about 55 Newton meters of torque, and it definitely does feel, in my opinion, like a little bit more. I don't know if it's the fact that we've got these 20-inch wheels here and just mechanically those tend to have a little bit better torque, but they say it's 55 Newton meters and we don't have a dyno to test those claims, so we'll just go with 55. Now, both of these batteries have a 48 volt system. They come stock with a 10.4 amp hour battery. However, both of these models have the option to upgrade to that larger 14 amp hour battery if you're looking for extra range. As far as stopping power goes, they both have hydraulic brakes with 180 millimeter discs up in the front and the rear. As far as comfort goes, both of these are shown with the Comfort package, which is this suspension seat post and larger saddle. And they both have front fork suspension with 50 millimeters of travel. Again, that's an upgrade from the 40 millimeters of travel that was on the 2.0s. So they are tending to go in the right direction here. Both of these bikes come with puncture-resistant 20x3-inch tires, and this is a tire that is designed for, I would say, all-terrain. Rolls really good on the concrete, but you do have those knobs on the side, so if you do get into some grass, some loose dirt, some well-paved trails, this is going to handle pretty well in those scenarios. Now, they also share the same convenient folding capabilities, making them easier to store or transport in tight spaces. So the main question we asked in the beginning was, which of these bikes is right for you? And I think it really comes down to height and the standover height on the step through. If you're looking at this and saying 24 inches, that's a little bit tall to lift my leg, and you could probably measure something, get an idea what that would feel like getting on and off, then the step through would be the right one for you. If that's not really an issue for you, you could still get either one, but I imagine most people, and the more common one that I see is the traditional XP 3.0. So that would be really up to you. So it comes down to the standover height. Again, Lectric does say this is rated to handle somebody that's a little bit taller. Still a little bit out of my range, but again, if you're in between 5'2" to 6 foot, those are Mitch numbers. I think the XP 3.0 would be a good fit for you. And if you're a little bit taller than 5 foot, you know, you're 4'11", but you tell everybody you're 5 foot, then the step through might be what I would push you towards, just because it's going to be a little bit easier to get on and off, especially for those people with mobility issues or bad knees, bad back, bad hips, whatever that is. I imagine the standover height was pretty much the main question that most of you had, but if there were some different questions that you had between the step over and the step through, let us know down in the comments below. And if you came across this video first and you haven't watched the in-depth reviews, you can just ask us questions about either one of these and we will answer you in the comments. Thank you guys so much for riding with us, and we'll catch you on the next one. That was good.